'Tis the season for a wholesome Genshin tier list, I think. Today we're going to decide how Genshin characters are spending their holiday season. How are they celebrating the Christmas time? How are they enjoying their company? I have a few tier lists here. We have wholesome family time. We have friend gathering, alone but content, a little tipsy, and working/obligations. Aww. I thought it would be fun to go through all the characters and decide how they most likely would be spending the festive season. There's a lot of characters in this game, so let's jump straight in. Weirdly, despite how many friends the Traveler has made throughout their journeys, I really do think that they would spend it alone but content. Maybe during the holiday season they just particularly feel the loss of their sibling that much more, and they're happy to just spend it alone and think of their sibling. I want to put Jean here in working/obligations, but I feel like Lisa would probably drag her out to a friend gathering and not let her work during the holiday season, so we'll put them both there. Amber for sure is going to be hanging out with some friends. Noelle is difficult because as much as I do think that she would be like hanging out with friends, I also feel like she would always be trying to like take care of people and always be trying to like be the best, caretaker and maid. So I think she's doing both. Barbara I definitely think is going to be having wholesome family time with her parents, and then maybe even Jean could go up here as well. Maybe Jean is going to do double time this Christmas. Part of me wants to put Sucrose here. Maybe she hangs out with Albedo and stuff, but I also feel like Sucrose is perfectly content hanging out alone. She'll curl up by the fire with a good book and spend her Christmas that way. Fischl, I think, probably is going to get dragged to a friend gathering by like maybe Bennett. Mona, I want to put in a little tipsy. She's having fun, she's hanging out with people, but she's going hard on that eggnog. And I think Kaya as well, in a way. I think Diluc is absolutely working. He's definitely behind the counter at at Angel's Share. He does not take a day off, and he definitely does not like to celebrate the holidays. I don't get that impression for him. Razor's a little confused about what this is all about, but he did get dragged by Fischl and Bennett to a little gathering, so he's there with them. We'll put Bennett there as well. I feel like Ningguang would probably work as well. I think that she's definitely having like a little bit of a celebration, but she is very much like on the clock as well. Beidou would absolutely be checking in on Ningguang at least once throughout the day, but she is tipsy the whole day on the eggnog. Keqing is interesting. She has like a very good work-life balance, so she's a really hard worker, but she also likes to like go out and have fun with her friends, so we'll put her in friend gathering. Xiangling definitely has obligations because she's the one cooking the Christmas dinner, I think. She's definitely in the kitchen most of the day making a giant feast for all of her friends and family. And I think that Chongyun is going to be one of those people hanging out with Xiangling and all of the people she's cooking for. But Xingqiu, I think, is actually going to be having family time. Xingqiu comes from a very wealthy, important family, and I definitely think they would spend Christmas together. As much as maybe he would want to sneak out and see Chongyun and his other friends. Maybe he does for like an hour every day, But mainly he's going to be with his family, and I don't think he loves it, but it is nice. I think Qiqi and Baizhu are going to stay back at Boo Boo Pharmacy, but they're going to have like a little, a very small celebration together. They're going to exchange gifts with each other, and they're still going to be in the pharmacy, but they're like father and daughter kind of. It's a very, small affair. Venti, definitely alone but content, I think. He's going to like sit on the rooftops of Mondstadt getting a little drunk. Actually, we'll move into tipsy for sure, never mind. He's going to sit on the rooftops of Mondstadt, a little drunk, just looking out over all of the Mondstadters and their festivities and just feeling happy. Klee is absolutely going to have wholesome family time with Albedo, and maybe even Alice if she shows up. Child is like #1 family man in Genshin. He's definitely going home to Snezhnaya and hanging out with his siblings and his parents. Diona is definitely probably still going to be at the Cat's Tail and trying to get everybody to stop drinking the eggnog, but maybe she will have some wholesome family time with her dad as well, but I think mainly she's going to be at the Cat's Tail. Zhongli is an interesting one. I definitely think he's an alone but content person. Another Archon to sort of walk through the streets of his nation and just enjoy that all of his people are celebrating and happy on this day. Xinyan is absolutely going to be hanging out with friends. Ganyu is absolutely going to be hanging out with her sister Shenhe and their mom Shen Yun. Xiao, come on, it's gotta be alone but content. In my head, if the Traveler was going to be hanging out with anyone, it would be with Xiao, but that's just me having brain rot. But Xiao is definitely an alone but content person, I think. Hu Tao, on the other hand, no way she's spending it alone. She's going to be hanging out with friends and she's going to be the life of the party that Christmas. Rosaria absolutely is going to be having alone but content time. Maybe you could say that she's working, in the sense that she's going to try and like stalk the streets of Mondstadt and make sure there's no crimes happening at the time, but alone but content. Yanfei definitely gives me vibes of someone who's not ever going to stop thinking about her work, so even if she is hanging out with her friends or her family, her mind's definitely going to be on her next big case. Eula, definitely alone but content, I think. Same as Kazuha. I think putting Ayaka, Toma, and Ayato all in wholesome family time makes sense. I definitely think the Kamisatos are going to be spending the holidays together. Maybe Ayato could also go down here because I think he's another to never really stop thinking about his responsibilities. But for the sake of having all of these three in one place, we'll put them all here. Yorimiya as well is definitely going to be hanging out with her father. Sayu might be alone and content because I think she's just going to sleep through any holiday she has year round. She's just always going to be curled up, sleeping, and not really participating in the festivities. Raiden is an interesting one. I could definitely see Yae forcing her to come hang out with her and some friends, but I definitely think that Raiden is the kind of person to spend it on her own if she can help it. Sarah, definitely a bit of a workaholic. I don't think she's ever fully going to give up her position, even to relax for just a day. Same, and because Kokomi is like priestess and the leader of Watatsumi, I definitely think that she has a lot of responsibilities on holidays for her people, so unfortunately I don't think she's going to get much of a break either. Aloy, in the game that she's originally from, she would definitely be spending Christmas with her friends, but in Genshin, she don't got no friends, so sorry Aloy. Ito's tipsy, for sure. And I think Goro might also be a bit of a workaholic, you know, I don't know if he can unwind even during Christmas. Yunjin is definitely going to be hanging out with her friends, or her father, maybe wholesome family time? I think I'll put her with the other Liyue girls for now. See, now here's the tricky part. If Yae isn't hanging out with Raiden, is she also alone? Or does she have other friends? I think she could go in either of these, but I also do definitely see Yae just kind of sitting in Narukami's shrine once again, just looking at all of the people coming in and out and having a nice time like that. Yolan definitely working / obligations. She definitely always has her job on her mind, and Christmas is not a time for rest for her. I think Kuki is probably also working / obligations because she's trying to take care of the whole Arataki gang, who aside from her are probably all plastered. Heizo, crime doesn't stop on Christmas. He's gonna keep working. Tugnari I'm putting in wholesome family time because this is my video, therefore I can decide that Sino and Kale are his family, and you can't take that away from me. I don't know anything about Dori really, but I feel like she would still be trying to swindle people even on Christmas, so we're putting her down here. Candace, obviously the leader and protector of Aru Village, definitely might be hanging out with Dia, but also definitely might, you know, be continuing to fulfill her role as protector. Everyone's inside celebrating, and I think she's definitely still overlooking the village, making sure everybody is safe. Nilu, I was going to put her in friend gathering because she definitely strikes me as that kind of person. However, I do think that maybe the bazaar puts on like a Christmas, you know, event and she dances at it. So maybe she would be, you know, working during Christmas, but it's not really an obligation because it's something she loves to do and she would do it anyway. Now, we did just have an event about Nahida's birthday, so it's kind of hard to say whether she would spend it alone but content or with her friends because of what we know about her birthday now, but I think I am going to put her in alone but content. Again, I think a lot of the Archons are going to be in this position where they're just going to kind of sit to the side and enjoy all of their people enjoying the holiday. Layla is going to be spending it alone but content. She also will be sleeping. It's one of her only breaks from schoolwork, and she's very much going to take advantage of it. Wanderer, also alone but content. He doesn't like the big gatherings. He's fine just kind of hanging out, away from everyone. For some reason, part of me wants to put Faruzan in a little tipsy, just because I feel like she's that kind of person, to get a little wine drunk on Christmas and never stop talking, and we love her for it. I feel like Alhaitham typically would spend Christmas with his grandma. So I'm going to put him in wholesome family time. Yao Yao. Oh, she's definitely hanging out with her family in Chinksa village, right? Dia for sure gonna be in friend gathering, but at the same time, if she's working as a mercenary for someone, I don't think she gets a break just because it's Christmas, you know? Probably she'll go in working class obligations, but she still enjoys the day for sure. Mika. We know that Mika has an older brother, Huffman, so I feel like he's probably going to be spending time with Huffman, especially now that he's back in Mondstadt. Kaveh might make the trip to Fontaine to visit his mom, or he gets dragged by Alhaitham to the Christmas event at his grandma's house, so maybe he's hanging out with friends instead. He could go either way. Maybe he alternates. He only sees his mom in Fontaine, you know, every other year because it's expensive to go travel. Kirara. I mean, someone's got to deliver the presents, even the ones that come late on Christmas Day. The Linny trio absolutely spend time together on Christmas alongside their father. Where is she? Here she is. The Hearth definitely has lots of Christmas celebrations, and these three in particular spend it together. Niviette is definitely going to fulfill the sort of Archon role of alone but content, just enjoying the celebration, or actually he might spend it with the Melazines, and in that case, is it friend gathering? Yeah, let's do that. I think I like the idea of him spending it with the Melazines. Ridsley definitely is going to be alone and content though, and even I would say he's going to be alone and content in the Fortress of Meripede, so he's still going to be working. Similar to Nilou, I kind of like the idea of Farina putting on a performance in the opera Epiclé on Christmas. So even though she is technically quote-unquote working, it doesn't feel like an obligation because it's something she loves to do anyway. Charlotte's always looking for that scoop, and the newspaper still publishes on Christmas, so she's still working. Navia is absolutely spending it with friends. In fact, she's spending it with Clorinde in particular, so let's go ahead and put Clorinde up here as well. Chevreuse, this is interesting. I'm probably going to put her in friends or wholesome family time, or maybe she's still working. Is she still working as a guard on Christmas? I mean, someone's got to guard the streets, right? I guess so. Gaming, absolutely family time with his father up in Shenyu Vale. Chiori definitely gives me alone but content vibes. I think that she just likes the calmness of Christmas and spending it alone. Sigewinne, I think that Sigewinne spends time with her Melusine family, probably, and Niviette. Does Niviette count as family to the Melusines, or is he their friend? I think we'll put him in family just because that's more wholesome. Sethos. Now, Sethos could spend time at the Temple of Silence with his family, or he could spend time like with Cyno and such with his friends. I like the idea of him spending time with Cyno and his friends, so. Emily. Well, we do know that Emily and Chevreuse are close. Maybe they spend time together. I do think that Chevreuse would probably be working on Christmas, but I kind of like the idea of these two spending their Christmas together. Mualani. She's definitely spending time with friends, I think. Kachina with her family in the Children of Echoes. Kanich definitely gives me alone but content vibes. And Shalonen, there's no way that Shalonen is working on Christmas, let's be honest. Does she get a little tipsy? I could see her getting a little tipsy, hanging out with her friends or with her family. Chaska, probably alone but content, especially the first Christmas after, you know, everything that happened to her in the Archon quests. So now, would Auroran be forced to spend time with his granny? Or would he spend it alone but content on his farm? I think he could probably do both, but it's probably more wholesome to imagine Sitlali dragging him along to a Christmas celebration together, so we'll pair those up in a family time. And finally, Mavuika is going to fulfill the alone but content role again, I think. I think literally all the other Archons, except for some of them. And I don't know anything about this character. I think this character has been leaked recently, and I don't know her, so I don't know where she would be. So that's going to be the end of the Genshin Impact Christmas tier list. Obviously, there's a huge amount of subjectivity to this. Do not take this as truth. Your headcanons about how these characters would spend the holidays is completely true, just as much as mine. I just wanted to make a wholesome little video for the holidays. I hope that you guys are having a great time at home, and that you're looking forward to the new year in a few days if you celebrate it. With that said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Have a great holiday season, and I will see you all in the next one. Later!